the Westchester News.
Gotcha.
We are on location in Yonkers, where the Attorney General's office will be taking complaints. The Westchester News.
Gotcha. The Westchester News.
Gotcha. The Westchester News.
Welcome
to the Yonkers Riverfront Library.
We also do a lot of work in civil and labor rights. We are fighting to make New York the land of equal opportunity and justice. But even in this day and age, discrimination is unfortunately alive and well in New York and across the land. Discrimination is not only wrong or immoral, but it's also illegal. David Sampson, he's our Director of Legal Affairs in the regional offices, and he'll explain to you the various breakouts.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Deputy Attorney General David Sampson. I'm glad to be here as well, and I will introduce our staff that is here today in the breakout sessions that we will have. Interested or have an issue that you would like to discuss on consumer frauds, please remain here after the program. I would like to introduce the Chief of Consumer Frauds, Joy Feigenbaum. Also joining in that breakout session will be the Chief of the Real Estate Finance Bureau, Ken DeMario. And assisting them as well, Assistant Attorney General Andy Lugo. The second breakout session will be in civil, labor, and immigrant rights. That will be held on the 4th floor. And in that breakout session, you will meet Bureau Chief of the Labor Bureau, Patricia Kakela, Deputy Bureau Chief of the Civil Rights Bureau, Alfonso David. If you have an issue that you've come here today that is not in one of these breakout sessions, we do have other members of the Attorney General's executive staff here today that I'd like to introduce to you now. And please feel free to approach any one of us after we break here. I'd like to introduce Deputy Attorney General for Administration, Edna Wells Handy. The Attorney General's Chief Investigator, Joseph D'Amico.
Gotcha. The Westchester News.
The issues with civil lawsuits in Yonkers, don't you think the council should stand up and say, hey guys, enough is enough. You're costing this city too much money.
You know, the problem is, and this is where I had an issue, because I had a problem with the...
I remember you had a problem too. Remember when they interrogated you?
Well, I put in the request for an investigation. I put that in
Remember
myself.
when you were in your car?
Yeah,
and they came,
that was
it was all over the pages.
Yeah, and it was, the story was all wrong. Yeah, that was spectacular.
Yeah.
And so clearly, and they don't speak to me as a result. Some of them, you know, they get my account and they say hello to me, but they don't speak.
Actually, this sir,
He's going to tell you.
There was an officer who arrested these two. I have no record. They have no record. I've been living there 43 years. I don't even litter. Call them in for questioning for 3 hours, and that's not the bad part. First of all, they didn't find any weapons on them, no jewelry. They had $13 between the two of them. It was the abuse. Why did you dumbos do it? Your father's a big D. I know your father, he's a big D. Meanwhile, they were like telling each other, these are not the kids. Asking my son, are you on therapy, or do you take medication? Things like that. Well, if you're feeling my son has a problem, why didn't you call? He's 19, he's 19. No record, no anything. He took 2 pictures of the boys. They tell me there are no pictures, and like these kids are too mental to know they took pictures. I want those pictures back. He took his driver's permit. He doesn't have that. I want that back. Never mind the fact I want justice for what they've done to these boys. I spent the following 2 days with them, crippled. He couldn't walk the streets and terrified. He was still scared. The same officer who arrested these boys came to my house 2 days later to accuse me of attempted murder on my neighbors downstairs, who have been threatening us physically, abusing us for 15 months. He said, I'm going to go down and speak to them. If they want to press charges, I'm going to have you arrested for attempted murder.
Let me tell you, one of the things that you're doing is the right thing to do, is to tell your story.
Yeah, but I'm afraid at this point.
I know you're afraid to tell you. But what has happened is, and Gail Baxter's here. She's now the president of the NAACP. And then I know that for a fact the NAACP was collecting data that they're not turning over. One thing that happens is when people don't cry out or tell their story, then when we go and say, well, you know, what happens with this particular officer, or we have an issue here, you know, all that's in their folders are glowing reports.
Yeah,
you know, there's no complaints. Talking amongst yourself does not mean paper trail. So if you go and you talk with Gail Baxter, who is right here.
Gotcha. The Westchester News.
The people and the organizations deal with the real people, and at the end of the day, organizations are handicapped to really drive remedies into the community. Officer Pataki.
No, the officer that was the one who was at our house the other night.
Who was
What's
it?
the shield number? I wrote it.
Shield number 951.
He didn't give his name, right?
He gave me his name when he came to arrest me for attempted murder 2 nights later. The woman who lives downstairs from me is a police officer, and I'm beginning to smell something wrong here. When he went downstairs, they were laughing. But he stood in my kitchen and told me that if he came back, I would be arrested for attempted murder with my vehicle, and if he didn't, to have a nice weekend. So 2 nights before these 2 boys, with no records and $13 between them, and 2 nights after that, me.
Harassment, okay.
And I am afraid to live in Yonkers at this point, and I don't want to go to the police station and file any reports until I leave. I drive. I'm afraid of tickets. I'm afraid of them locking.
Pulling your car over.
If people
Excellent.
can lie.
No,
and
you're
I
right.
Can go
You're
to
right.
jail. Everyone's like, well, you might do 2 days. I'm not doing 5 minutes.
On what?
On anything. You know, like they're like, well, if this is the way they're going to play it, then you'll get arrested for a little while until someone
Well, there
steps
is
in.
clear evidence of harassment, but the issue is there is a process, and what I can do is I'll take your name and I'm going to get the form. You should file a complaint with the Justice Department.
Yeah.
What I would like to help you do is get a very concise statement down on paper. We get it to the appropriate authorities and let them investigate. With respect to you having to move out of Yonkers, I would say, based on what you said to me, bounce.
What do you mean?
Just yes, because it's always going to be something else. If it's not the car, then and it's this, it's
So
that.
in other words, we're really being chased out of Yonkers.
Well, that's your perception. If you wanted to stay and fight this, yes. But I'm saying that you have so many loose ends. You got the board.
Let your courage overcome your fear.
So that we can transform policy that gets to the root of the problem.
The Westchester News. Gotcha.
And now they're like, if you're going to file a complaint, you better get out of town. And I don't have the money to, I don't have the means to, it's difficult. I can't even go home, I'm too afraid. The girl downstairs obviously knows this police officer who's doing this to us. I've been harassed 15 months. I haven't called the police just for this reason. Everybody knows about it. She calls the police on me, all of a sudden he's a burglar and I'm an attempted murderer. People don't even litter. It scares the heck out of me. And then I'm afraid. Actually afraid. That's all.
What we should do is probably have a conversation with you about the circumstances that are surrounding your allegations. If you have information to suggest that public officials are engaged in unlawful conduct, we would have the jurisdiction and certainly the interest in pursuing it.
Us as young people, we really don't know all our civil rights, and there was a point where some of my friends were in the park, and there was a police officer, and they stopped us and they told us to get out of the park. I was wondering, if a park is a public place, why are we getting kicked out of it? Anything, is that part of my rights that's been violated?
That's a really good question. Now, it's difficult to answer that question because we have to get into the heads of the police department or the police officer. Now, he could have assumed that you were skipping school. That's why he told you to get out of the park, because it was during school hours and you should have been in school. Now, if this was a holiday or if it was during the weekend, then we would certainly have more concern that he was asking you to leave the park when it was a public park and it's open, and whether or not it's being motivated by something that's unlawful. But to your point that the students in high schools don't really understand their civil rights, that's something that we could probably talk about in terms of materials that we could provide to the extent that we need to make ourselves available to provide you with more information as to what are your rights when you're in school, what are your rights when you take a job, a summer job, what are your rights when you live in a specific housing development. We can provide you with all of that information to give you more insight.
The Westchester News. Gotcha.
I'm very interested in everything that Andy Cuomo does. He's on the side of labor, and he's somebody that's on the side of every worker. The other thing, I'm really disgusted with a lot of things you see that says Made in the U.S., has an American flag on it, stores that do advertising with the American flag, and then when you pick it up, it's made in every other country but this country, with a lot of workers that feel that are abused around the world. And what made this country great is the worker, and I think what's going to continue to bring this country out of the problem we're in is the worker.
I work for a nonprofit, the Volunteer Center of United Way, so just to get as much information as I could regarding charities.
My name is Andre Adamson of Jojama Enterprises Senior Advocacy for Seniors. That's why I'm here today.
My name is Iron Steinfeld. I'm here because my girlfriend over here works for Elliot Engel, and she told me about it. And I was interested I went upstairs, and I listened to them talk about Medicare, and that's why I decided to come out.
My name is Nick Peño. I'm a former councilman in Yonkers and chairman of Budget and Finance Committee. And I just want to express my opinion with AIG scandal. Those people did not deserve bonuses, because bonuses come from the profit. They did not produce profit, they produced losses, and they penetrated fraud against American taxpayers and AIG stockholders. They should not get a dime of bonuses, and they should get jail terms for crime and the fraud that they have committed.
Who am I talking to?
I don't know who that is.
Hey, Andy, how are you?
What are we doing here?
Barbara. Ricci.
Barbara?
Yeah.
Where are you from, Barbara?
I'm the Westchester News. Oh, wait, that's the Attorney General. Yeah.
Wrong one. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Andrew.
All right, quick question. Governor Patterson had put out a lot of proposals on how to reduce costs, particularly with state employees.
If it passes at the state, we will very well put it into the county government. That's all I can tell you. We just, the Teamsters just did not get a raise. They're not, no raise
But that's not enough. 3% of a raise is nothing compared to what's being contributed for pensions.
You set me up. I don't appreciate it.
It's not being set up. It's a legitimate
Why is
she? I do not know her. At all.
Andy, she doesn't know me.
She walked over. I asked her who she was. She saw I was about to ask you a question.
I'm trying to tell you.
But do you understand the frustration of the taxpayer?
I absolutely understand it, but listen to me. We are not your problem. The county government.
No,
is
the
not
unions
your
are our
problem.
problem.
No, the county unions are not your problem. Our taxes are like this. If you want to look at the last 5 years, it's been like 2.6. And we're not in any serious problem like Nassau, Suffolk, Rockland, all those other towns.
We're not in serious problems in terms of our debt. We are in serious
not for
problems in
taxes
terms of what we pay in taxes.
But not the county taxes.
But I can no longer afford those taxes
I
because I now have
understand
to
that.
put thousands more into my retirement funds to compensate for what I just lost. And I'm not going to do that to fund able-bodied people to retire at 55. That's not acceptable.
There are issues up in Albany that will flow down as soon as they pass them up there. to the county, and the county will do whatever's done in Albany.
It's the same thing with healthcare. The union work, I pay more in a month to finance healthcare for me as a single person than what county employees contribute in an entire year.
Listen, I am in favor of contributions from county workers to the pension system. I am in favor
100%. I pay 100% for my retirement. Put them on 401ks like the rest of us.
We can finish this. You don't listen to me, or you're going to keep doing
Because you
what
keep telling me to go to Albany. You're not telling me
I'm
what
telling
you are doing.
Listen to me.
To the unions.
I just told you, I'm not doing anything to the union. I asked for givebacks. I got them. Okay? I asked the Teamsters not to take a raise this year. I got it. That's the only county in the state that had a reduction in our health care this year. Only one.
Because you cut back people, therefore it gets reduced. But you're still not making them
because
contribute 100% to their family and kids.
You are mixing
What?
apples.
I am not.
let me
That's
say
child
this.
support. Why am I paying for somebody else's kids' health care?
I appreciate your frustration. And we will do everything we can to keep taxes as low as we've kept them at this point. Okay? Some things are out of my hands. Those things you're talking about are out of my hands.
We now are looking at our retirements have disappeared. We're now taking on second jobs where we can to make up for what we've lost. Everybody I know has lost at least a third, if not 40%, of their life savings. And in your 50s, we do not have time to recover with these ridiculous benefits.
I am 73. I've lost 50% of my life.
Believe me, I feel that.
And many of the workers in the government have lost it also.
But
They haven't
your
lost their
pension's not
pensions. But I've been in a pension system 55 years.
But your pension will still be the same. You'll still get the 100,000 plus. I will not. I don't have a pension. Whatever was in my IRA was my pension. It's gone.
I understand.
You're still safe. Everybody in government is safe with my tax money.
Listen, this is an issue for today. It was not an issue for a year ago, 2 years ago.
It always was an issue, but today has escalated.
It was not an issue.
It was always an unfair system.
It was not an issue when everyone was making a lot of money, and the workers in the county government and other governments were making this amount of money. Now it's an issue.
The vast majority of people don't make what county workers make.
I appreciate your frustration. I'm doing everything I can to keep taxes low, and we've done that for 5 consecutive years. 5, on everything that's in our control. What you have to do is what I do. Go to the state and tell them this is killing us, this is killing us, this is killing us, and try to get them to do something.
It's become a
How do you think I feel when I can't get it done?
Right, it's become a communist system where those in power to government have all the benefits being supported by
I wouldn't criticize the people that already have it. Because they have it.
Because they
But
milked
going
it.
forward,
They milked it.
some of them do, some of them do.
There's,
It's
12
not everything.
paid holidays,
People work-
unlimited sick time that you can
People work
carry forward.
People work very
We
hard.
all work hard.
I understand. We weren't disagreeing. I just want to make you
It is so frustrating.
The Westchester News. Gotcha.
Andy, can you tell me what Westchester County is doing about the families that are going into foreclosure, how they're going to help them with the stimulus package?
We have, right now, we've saved over 250 homes. We've hired counselors that are working out of the WRO and other agencies, so they can get those agencies from 211 if they dial 211. We've been able to negotiate mortgages down to 2%, 3%, 4% fixed, which were at 10 and 15%. We are also looking at trying to get $7.5 million right now so that we can buy already foreclosed homes and resell them at affordable prices and get people into them, and then use that money to buy more foreclosed homes and do the same. But in the meantime, those are the ones that are already gone.
The Westchester News. Gotcha.
Actually, the woman that you had me just speak to, the short, dark woman with the glasses, told me to bounce, leave town.
You tell them. She said that. She's a tough woman. She'll say, yes, I said that.
But
She's not a pushover, that lady.
But what kind of answer is that? Leave town. She told me to leave town.
Because she knows what you're dealing with.
But that's wrong.
It is
The,
from,
the NAACP, the woman told her to leave town because she's being harassed by the police.
She said, my suggestion to you is bounce.
No. You did the right thing coming here today.
yes, you did, because you met us.
You know why?
We
Because
do this
it's
all
your
the time.
civil right to be here.
Cynthia Miller from Congressman Elliot Engel's office. I am here today at the seminar for the Attorney General. They had a seminar on health, education, housing, also with immigration. It was very helpful, and I was so glad to be a part of it.
I'm Robert J. Flower. I host a show on Cablevision called The Public Advocate. And right now what we're attempting to do is to introduce legislation into the City of Yonkers to amend their charter, to formulate an budget oversight commission, which would have the power of approving or disapproving various expenditures and budgetary items and assessments. We have several city council people in Yonkers who are looking at this proposition, and we're attempting to have it formulated. Hopefully we can do it within this period before the end of the year. But any of you who might be interested could reach me at 914-779-6299. My email, which is drrflower, Flower, at att.net. Love to hear from you and have your support. Thanks.
I work for Westchester Disabled on the Move. They were actually, the young men were at a conference we were sponsoring prior to them getting picked up.
It's harassment, and they need to learn how to talk to kids.
Speak to an attorney in our building, and so.
Have you ever had to have any conversations with the commissioner?
Oh, this commissioner? You can't talk to him. Taggart was a good commissioner.
Chief Taggart. I would call him chief because I remember him when he was chief.
He was the best. This mayor pulled him out and put this guy in. Try to talk to this guy.
Olson was also accessible.
Remember
Olson?
Also, the Cola.
Oh, Cola, way back.
He was good too.
Way back.
I like Cola. I like Taggart. Any cop that wants to do the right thing, commissioner, and represent the people and say enough for police brutality, they kick them right out.
And people are afraid because, they're exposed to retaliation.
You give me and you're Alfonso, right, David? It's a pleasure to meet you. I mean that. I think that you're going to do wonders here.
Hi, Tricia Kikalik from the Labor Bureau.
Nice to meet you. I'm Barbara Ricci.
I'm Elizabeth De Leon.
Hi, Elizabeth. Nice to meet you guys. I think that you really made an impact here today, with these people. And I really think that if you guys don't look the other way, you have to look at the vulnerable and represent them. You'll make a difference here in this community because it certainly needs you. You can't look at local government here. You can't. It's beyond reasonable.
The Westchester News. Gotcha.
No, just get your complaint form. You could always...
Yeah, I find it's a good idea. That's how you don't get arrested for a
Can you tell me why you're here today? My name is Barbara Ricci. I'm with the Westchester News.
Gotcha. The Westchester News. Let your courage overcome your fear.